more, right? Because I think at the end of the day, Web3 is here to stay. I'm 100% Web3 is here to stay. If not, I would cut my dick off, right? I think this is definitely here to stay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
GM. I love that last shot of Ray. Always have to put that up there.
Yeah, I almost forgot that was there. But welcome to the GM show. If you're new to the show, we bring you the ABCs. The ABCs are Asia-focused, builder-friendly, and cool vibes only, powered by Memeland, the home of captains, potatoes, MVPs, and Stakeland. If you don't know me, I'm Karen, and I'm your co-host as well as head of social for Memeland. And hi, Casey.
Hey, everybody. I'm Casey. I'm community builder. And as you know, Karen and I love talking to founders and creators. And we're excited to be able to bring you this show live from the GM Show studios in Hong Kong, where each week Karen and I chat to the most exciting builders in the Web3 space.
Yep. If you are excited to be here, show us some love on the comment section and emojis on X, YouTube, and Twitch, where we're broadcasting live so you can see our faces. But we can also do X Spaces audio only version, so you don't have to see us.
Who wouldn't want to see us, though? That's the main thing. It seems like people do like to watch the show and see what people look like, right?
It's better with the visuals for sure. So yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah, exciting. Okay, so we have these two ways to watch the show, and you can pick which one you want. I noticed recently that when we do it, like X does a red circle around the video and a blue or purple circle around the plain audio version. So you can actually see two of them happening at the same time. So that's a kind of a cool feature that we have. So you can pick the one you want. All right. So before we begin, let's hear a quick word from our chairman.
What is discussed on the GM show is not investment advice. We may or may not have ownership interests in the projects we are talking about, but this is not investment advice in any way, shape, or form. And this is not Sir David Attenborough.
All right.
Okay.
This week we are bringing in some special guests, a long-time listener.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah, exactly. We want to bring in our beloved teammate, Char. Hello, Char.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Char is just an AI, by the way. He doesn't show his face.
Last time I got accused of being a bot, Discord banned me. So I hope StreamYard doesn't ban me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry we didn't play a music. We should have played the music for him. You know, this is his first time on the show, so that's the thing. It's okay. We'll get him back on again. Char, how is everything going? Everybody just came back from New York. Is everything going well?
It's awesome, man. We're excited for the next thing. That's Dubai, and obviously the party in New York was awesome. It was great to meet everyone. Great to it's always great to connect with your holders in your community physically. Put a face to the names, but also discuss the whole journey, right? Like all the ups and downs that we've seen as a project, and it's always awesome to connect.
Yeah, it's almost like a therapy session that we do with the holders. Like, hey, what's up? Like, how's it going? And then we just talk about the full journey. I think some people were with us for a long time, for at least 2 years, and we're just happy to have them with us.
Yeah, I think we have the most stubborn holders, right? They've been around like most of them since Genesis, and they've stuck around. They do tend to FUD us, but they also do tend to compliment us when we're fine. But they don't leave us, which is which is I guess we just wanted that anyway. So yeah.
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 For sure. Oh yeah, you
Definitely
got
want
the
some
sticker.
steak. We
Yeah.
definitely want some steak. They're here for the steak.
Yep.
Okay, so let's okay. So Char is our special guest today because he has a connection to our guest today. So it's very exciting to bring them on together. So let's talk a little bit about it. Today's show is going to be around Forbes' Web3 initiatives, right? The magazine has a whole Web3 angle. If you didn't know, we're going to find out more about it today. They, with almost a decade of journalism focused on tech, they now have entered into the Web3 space, focusing heavily on creating new experiences, tangible benefits, and value add that we have not seen before. And I'd like to see what those are. In the last 5 months alone, they've launched many products and projects of their own, including putting the under 30 list on the blockchain, adding Connect Wallet to Forbes.com that unlocks all content on the site for free, released permanent land on the sandbox, launched an art contest, and several open calls to offer financial and travel grants to artists, and made a public wallet of their own to collect from their favorite brands and artists for their very own vault. So this is cool. They're doing a lot of degen stuff for such a big corporate media entity, right? They're committed to value add first approach and just announced their biggest project yet, the Legacy Pass, which includes 1,917. We're going to find out what's so special about that number. Soulbound passes that unlock game-changing benefits. The Legacy Pass stands an exclusive membership club curated with entrepreneurs, creators, and builders in mind. I'm excited to learn more. Karen, who is our guest today?
Our guest today entered into the Web3 spaces 5 years ago through NFT because her love for art, artists, and their storytelling. In the Web3 space, she is an avid collector and supporting of projects that are helping move the needle of innovation. Please welcome to the GM show, the VP of Forbes Web3, Mani Patel. Hi, Mani.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
We're good. Good to have you.
It's so great to be here.
Yep, we had a great time in New York. It's good to bring you back to talk about more like the deep dive of Forbes Web3. But yeah, before that, I think Casey has some questions.
Yeah, no, I wanted to warm up before we got into the actual thing. Web3, publishing in Web3, the media, it keeps fluctuating, right? We know CoinDesk is a big player in the market, and we just saw not too long ago Decrypt and Rug Radio merge together. When there's a bull run, there's all types of media influencers shilling meme coins and NFTs and stuff like that. But I guess it's going to be the long-term journalism that keeps it together. How do you see, what the market looks like from a Forbes perspective in terms of all this kind of media that comes in and out of the market?
It's as a member of Web3, it is extremely exciting. I mean, I still remember in 2019 when I first entered the space, everything was so loud. And you didn't really have a place to go to for those very quick tidbits of what's the latest happenings. And so to see everything we have accomplished in media in just the last 4 or 5 years has been incredible. The Rug Radio Decrypt merge, for example, I think says a lot about how we think about content creation and what deserves to really be showcased as storytelling. And I think we've really just scratched the surface when it comes to what cool things we're going to see when it comes to media entering into the space and diving in further.
Great. Awesome. Okay. So let's get into exactly what Forbes Web3 is doing. Karen, what's the first question?
Yeah. I think we can start from the day one, why Web3 for Forbes? Can you tell us the story about from Web 2 to Web 3, what makes that decision?
Absolutely.
Web 1, Web 0, right? It was a print magazine for ages, right?
That's absolutely right. So Forbes has a very rich history, founded in 1917, and it was really started as a family business. So that community, that growth was very there from the early stages. And it was founded in New York City, a time when the country was going through a big wave of just adoption and innovation. And with that, really one thing that has always stayed consistent is the brand has always sort of been at the forefront of human progress and technological advancements. I mean, Forbes has been there during these massive revolutions, during the man on the moon, the internet boom, the computer boom. It has really showcased all of that. with time, and even more importantly, champion the leaders, the people that have helped bring that to reality. So I think from a company brand perspective, but then also just who we are as people, innovation is a really key part of that. Even the company right now, our team, a lot of us come from that grassroots hustler mentality, building together, innovating, thinking outside the box. And with that, of course, Web3 is a no-brainer, because Web3 very much has those exact same values where you're building from scratch, you're building in this community ecosystem, and you're just moving the needle in terms of adoption and innovation.
So the team right now working on the Web3 side of things, like, are they originally from the Forbes team, or do you guys like hire the brand new team for this whole entity?
It's really a mix. But one thing that people always get very surprised by when I tell them is Forbes' Web3 department is 100% internal. So we don't have any external parties. We don't have any hired agencies out there. Everything that you're seeing, from the product development to even our marketing and our community growth, every asset, every copy, that is done 100% by Forbes and the Web3 group. Right now, we're about 10 people. It has everything from blockchain engineers to smart contract coders to designers to product development. So we've sort of covered a good amount of talent when it comes to our little team here.
That's awesome. That shows dedication to build a team like that, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, what's our next question?
Okay, the next question. So I read a few of the things up at the front. It's interesting. You're giving grants to artists to travel to Web3 shows, but what has it been encompassing in the last, like, so when did you start the Web3 stuff, and what have you done in the space so far?
Yeah, I mean, from journalism, I mean, we've been covering this topic for 5-7 years, almost a decade. So when it comes to like editorial work, we are very familiar with the space. And what's exciting is our coverage in Web3 has just been getting higher and higher. We haven't seen any fluctuations during the bear market or the bull market. It's just really been growing in terms of traffic, readers, engagers on a regular basis. In fact, if you go to Forbes.com right now, we have Forbes digital assets that really focus on everything crypto news. And we also released some cool lists to go along with it, such as Blockchain 50, that recognizes 50 companies in the blockchain space. But our question is, let's go further. Let's dive in, because this is an ecosystem where you can't be high level. You have to be super granular. You have to be deep in there and have your fingers in the pulse. So a lot of the initiatives you just mentioned, Casey, are really around that, where we want to be deeply integrated into the brands that are out there, the artists, and see how we can create value for them. The travel grants, the financial grants, are some of the prizes that we gave out as part of our art contests and open calls. And that's just one way that we're showcasing that we really believe in the art that is part of Web3. For a lot of us, even in the Forbes Web3 team, art is what sort of drove us to this space through NFTs. And that's always going to be a key special part of everything we do. And I think supporting artists now more than ever is a really important part of the world.
Yeah, I think it's really smart for you guys to, leverage on these years and years of content and communities that you guys built, and then turn it into something that is truly Web3 and also bringing values to the Web3 community. I'm really excited because the next question is about the Inner Circle. And we have an Inner Circle member here, Char.
Ooh, a real Inner Circle member.
Yeah, we're not cool enough, but Char is cool enough.
Char is.
So I want to know more about, like, what is the Inner Circle and what does it mean for the community?
The Inner Circle's officially become my favorite topic to talk about. I will say, when we first started releasing these Inner Circle members, I don't think we expected to get the amount of traction and inbound we got, but it's been incredible. And in fact, even our customer support for like Forbes.com and Forbes magazine is getting inbound, and they're reaching out to us like, how do we respond to this? So I'm surprised the Web3 Degens found that customer support line. But anyways, I mean, Web3 is all about the builders, the creators, the entrepreneurs, and Forbes as a brand. One thing we're really good at is recognizing those folks and really building relationships and partnerships with them. So the Inner Circle is actually a greater part of the Legacy Pass. And those posts that a lot of people in Web3 saw, where one at a time we were showcasing each Inner Circle member, was almost like the initial stages of the Legacy Pass reveal and announcement. So the members of Inner Circle that have been selected thus far are 60 hand-selected people that we believe have just added tremendous value to the Web3 space. And you'll notice from the folks that are in this circle, what we did a really good job of, I think, is we focus on a diverse group of industries within Web3. So we have gaming recognized, we have artists recognized, we have collectors recognized, DeFi, SocialFi, you name it. And it's so exciting to have Ray and Char represented there as well. I mean, everything that Memeland has created, going from 9gag and then adding that a lot of us really resonated with. But how does it tie into Legacy Pass? We really believe that the folks that we have captured thus far are just the beginning. There is tremendous talent in the Web3 space. And so we want to expand the Inner Circle cohort. And through the Legacy Pass Club is really the way to get that title and that spotlight. And I can't wait to see all the incredible people that are out there that are waiting to get the spotlight.
Yeah,
Char.
I would ask Char, like, how
Yeah,
does it
how does it feel? Yeah, how's your life change being in the Inner Circle?
I think like I went from my mom thinking that I'm doing nothing to finding like, hey, he's probably not doing something too bad, you know. I mean, Forbes as a legacy, like Manny said, from like, you know, it's been around since 1917, and it's such a household name at this point, right? Like, it's become something that validates a lot of the space, a lot of individuals, a lot of businesses all over, and it's been doing that for more than a century now. And I think with them also entering our space and doing it the right way, right? One of the biggest things that we love about how Forbes is doing it is their process of understanding the space, understanding all the categories, understanding the individuals who've been doing well in the space. And more than anything, it's also about curating a list of builders. I think there is a definite way of doing things and how you enter Web3. And I think Forbes is doing one of the right ways. And historically, right, like even when we got into Memeland and as 9gag, there's been a lot of pushback from the Web3 community into Web2 companies that try to join. Because like you said, right, in the beginning, when you guys I asked Manny that, hey, is it like you guys have been doing it in-house, you guys have hired some agency, you guys have hired some liaison? Generally, it's that where companies just hire someone or like pass their IP through it. But I think Forbes is taking the harder step, right? Like, it's the longer road, and I think that's what's great about the Inner Circle, and it's something that we really are proud of being a part of.
Is there an Inner Circle Telegram group that we don't know about now? Is there a secret society?
We have like a secret society where we just like pass
a handshake.
on. Yeah, we're like, hey, we just send emojis.
Great. More questions for Manny. So is this Inner Circle list going to be renewed, or like what's going to happen? Is it going to be another list next year? Are people going to nominate stuff like that?
Yeah, it's really through the Legacy Pass initiative that the Inner Circle title comes about. And that dives in a little bit actually into our allow list process, which we just revealed and shared publicly. We want this to be a curated club with folks that you can depend on, you can grow with, you can build with. And that's really why we went the application route, where one, it resonates so much with Forbes, because as a brand, whenever we come out with lists like under 30, for example, there is an application process. So this allow list structure feels very familiar to us as a brand, but it has that Web3 component to it. And the questions we ask, they're questions that we would want to really talk about in this club, where it's about talking about the projects you have built, whether they have been successful or whether they they didn't work out too well, but you learned from it. And what are some qualities or really skill sets that you're hoping to learn from this club, and then you also have to offer. And I think this sort of application process really resonates well with exactly what we're going for. It's that personalization, that curation, and there's absolutely amazing Discord chats, amazing communities already for PFPs and NFTs and other topics. But I think there is still one that has yet to be disrupted when it comes to super curated around entrepreneurships, creators, and builders. And so through the Legacy Pass, you are an inner circle and member, and you get all of these other benefits that come along with it.
Great. I think this is also what this show is about, where we are, inviting all these builders and providing them a platform to share their work. And we're just now following the inner circle list to find out who's gonna be our next guest.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I was just looking at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is kind of like you kind of answered it already, but what kind of community are you building? There's 19, did I hear that? 1,917 legacy passes, is that right? So why that number? And then who are the people that you're going to bring into this? They have to be vetted, and how does it work?
Yeah, absolutely. 1917 is a very special number for us. It is our birthday. It is our founding year. And I think what we really got excited about is just how much Web3 celebrates numbers. We are already getting inbound of people asking for specific numbers on their Legacy Pass card that they want to hold on to. And I think that just resonates with the fact that we are so attached and in love with the numbers, the identifiers that do showcase who we are. So 1970 was kind of that perfect amount, because it's big enough to where you feel like you're part of something big, but then it's still small enough to where you can make it personalized, you can make it curated. And the allow list application really was sort of the perfect fit for us, because it not only did it allow us to get to know the potential members that we are onboarding and are providing value to through this exclusive club and exclusive ecosystem, but also it allows us to make sure that the folks we are bringing in, again, really have this mutual beneficial experience when they enter. And by no means are we looking for leaders that have quote unquote made it, that they're at the top of their peak, they've accomplished this great amount of things. The best part of Web3 is everybody is a builder, everybody has that entrepreneurship bug, whether you're working on a 9-to-5 and you have this side hustle that you're trying to turn into a reality. The mission, the passion, the love, the dedication is really what we're looking for. And I think the application allow list will really set that up for success.
Great. I know this question is a bit like what you already said a little bit about what is the Legacy Pass, but like if we have to put it in one sentence, like what is the pass?
Yeah, the Legacy Pass is a soul-bound pass that unlocks an exclusive membership to a club for people just like you that are building in Web3, that love Web3. And with it are coming a list of benefits that we've revealed just last week that have been extremely game-changing for Forbes as a brand, but then I also think quite innovative for what we've seen in the Web3 space thus far.
I think there might be some alphas at the end of the show, I hope.
Stay tuned, right? Okay, so what, Phil, based off all that then, so what is the actual roadmap? I guess as a corporate entity, you're going to build a roadmap for sure, so everybody's on board and can engage with the future of what this is going to be. So maybe you can drop some ideas, what's going to happen for maybe the summer into the fall?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's going to happen really in the next few weeks is going to be the launch of the Legacy Pass itself. So we have the mint dates and we have the actual sale for those that are part of the allow list. But now then it's really time to get to work. I think for a lot of brands and projects, you may think everything leads to mint day. But for us, we really think of it as a second way around, where after mint day is really when the work comes, because now it is all about delivery. So a lot of people don't know this, but the Legacy Pass project, we actually started building out in 2023. So everything from the benefits reveal, can we make it happen, the tools, the products, the platforms, all of that is already set in stone. And now it's just time on delivering with the deadlines. So the roadmap for summer and fall of this year is really going to be, you're going to start seeing a lot of those benefits come out. The one that I am personally so excited about is going to be later on in this year, where we're going to be having all of the holders be recognized in the actual Forbes magazine. So whether you're in the newsstand, whether you're at the airport, whether you're anywhere near a bookstore, you can pick up the Forbes magazine and turn to one of the pages, and you'll see your cohort, you'll see your buddies, you'll see your name. And that is an opportunity that we have been so excited to bring to the audience and to our community.
Will we see Char on the cover? That's the question everybody's asking.
Let's
Even
hope
Char,
not.
he's asking. He asked me to ask you that, by the way.
No, thanks, Casey. Casey's like my wingman, like my virtual wingman.
I want to go to the airport and see Char's face on a Forbes cover when I board a flight. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I'd be surprised, man.
To a crypto show. That'd be amazing.
That'd be a low day for Forbes.
Yeah. Well, that's the ultimate recognition, right? Like, I think a lot of people in the space are, you know, like we all need a platform to like talk about their work and also get recognized. And also people don't really understand like what is behind the scene. And I think the more platform, the more publishers are recognizing that, the better. Also, I love having like a community that is like all leaders, like all builders, and that will make the industry going forward like a lot better. Here's a question for both of you guys, because like we usually ask this for our builders in the 20 question format, but I think this is also applying to in both of our companies. What advice would you give to other Web2 companies going into Web3? Because you guys mentioned, is it going to be a dedicated team where it's in-house, like, or is it like, what does it take? You know, maybe Manny, you can answer that first.
Of course.
And see if you have any advice for Starbucks.
Oh man,
Damn.
I will.
Damn, Casey's shooting, man.
Casey really went there. I think Web3 is a space that requires 100% of your attention. Like you can't be halfway in. You have to be either all in or you know, you might as well just not try it right now, because I think as a department, your team needs to be fully in love with the space and be able to give it all that you have. And so when I do talk to other brands, we regularly have this group chat with other legacy brands that in some shape or form have entered into this space. And one thing that I mention constantly is you have to be granular. This isn't a space for a high level. And you need a team that is not just going to be dedicated to the space, but they understand it and they love it. Because Web3 will take a lot out of you, but it is also one of the most incredible experiences that you can have, especially in a time like right now where it's growing so fast, but it's still so early. So I think that's really the best advice. It's you have to just be completely in. And another thing, and this is me really speaking as someone who works at a legacy brand, because we're so new, when one of us wins, we really all win. Some of my favorite people are actually those that helped build the Web3 group at Time Magazine. I mean, even Memeland, you know, 9gag is a media company. And it's been very inspiring. It's been really exciting to see what brands before us have built and how we can just add on top of it.
Oh yeah. Like what about Char? Like I think you also gave some advice for other companies before and also our partners. What do you usually tell them?
I think a lot of it has to do with your process of how you join the space. Because, like, let's take Mani, right? She's been around for a while. She's been indulging in like NFTs and crypto, but not every company would have a person on team like before they joined Web3 who understands Web3. So I think a good mix of existing Web2 teammates plus probably even new hires from within the space who've been around for a while and can essentially guide you and can help you speak the language and understand the language of the space. I think that's super important, because a lot of times you don't want to lose the plot, right? You don't want to lose the point of view of why you're here. And a lot of it also has to do with responsibility. I think the second brands start taking up responsibility that, hey, we can't like mess this up and this is a serious thing, not just a side venture, I think you should be fine. Because if you treat it that, hey, this is like one of the best ways for me to expand my audiences and also like expand my point of contacts, it's going to be a fantastic way to grow forward as a Web2 company. But obviously doing it the right way is important, right? Like even early days when we were speaking with Forbes and Mani, I think like we had great conversations about like, you know, hey, do you get the space? Do you understand? And I think that's the best part, that brands can always come to Mani, can always come to us in 9gag just to figure out, hey, is this like a better way to do things? And we can definitely help projects with that journey.
I think this is really interesting, like about, hiring a DGen. Where do you find these people? I think Char is a great example for us because obviously we have a mix of Web 2 and Web 3 people in the team when we first started off. But then Char came in as like, he's already in the community. He's like super active. He's a DGen. And that adds a lot of values for the team, But like, I want to understand, like, where do you hire these people? Like, do you guys all about like hiring DGens or, where do you find them?
I think there's different skill sets that you're looking for, right? So I mean, we have a tremendous team that has built and created their own smart contracts, for example, and that's exactly what we needed when we put the under 30 list on the blockchain. And then, but there are also folks that have been part of media for many years. They understand this ecosystem. They also, as importantly, understand the responsibility of being part of a company that gets to storytell what Web3 is to the rest of the world. So it's really a mix of things. Me personally, it was really through LinkedIn, so a very Web 2 experience, and it was a time where I actually didn't check LinkedIn that often, but I connected with one of their members, and we went through the whole process, and here we are. But to your point, I think finding someone that has that DGen bug in them can definitely go a long way because they have sort of their finger on the pulse with what's going on in the moment in the ecosystem.
Yeah, great. I think Char, you should share your story about like how do you start harassing CEO and get the job.
I think it's very interesting, right? Like I've been like the first time I bought into Bitcoin was 2017. I've been around the space for a while, and I think even when Ray started buying NFTs, Ray and I were wasting money on similar projects, and that's when we started chatting. And this was like I think in 21, and obviously I was like, hey, you want to get onto call? I want to know what you're up to, and obviously for like a year more, we were just discussing like plans about Memeland and just like brainstorming of what's going on with the space. Obviously, like we wanted to like understand more about Memeland because it's 9gag, right? I've been using 9gag for a decade myself. I never had like an Instagram or a Facebook till like I graduated just because I was on 9gag all day. So it was great to see that, and it was like, hey, we've seen too many companies come into the space and really implode, and a project like 9gag that I personally have been a user and I care about. I definitely wanted to be a part of it, be able to help, and I think that's where I joined the team. And since then, like it's just been helping across with everything, right? Helping across Memecoin with the NFTs, with Stakeland, and I think that's more interesting of even how the existing team, like even Ray, has been very receptive, right? Because imagine me like in my mid-20s just like yelling at Ray that's saying, hey, we can't do that, that's not going to happen, and him being receptive and also adapting to that, and also vice versa where Ray being so experienced and even Karen and everyone on the team being so experienced outside of the Web3 space teaching us about how things work in Web2, right? How you need to formalize yourself, etc. So I think it's a great process for anyone who is a DGen or is someone who wants to do bigger things rather than just like trade shitcoins. I think it's a good way to start dedicating for the better of the space.
Yeah.
Manny, I have a question to follow up on that as well. Selling this into Forbes corporate, what kind of questions came up that may have been pushback, right? Because we're seeing a lot of, corporates get into it a couple years ago. I think Adidas is still in it. Nike really went hardcore, right? Bought a whole company around it. So I think that culture is very connected. But how about, publishing? It makes a lot of sense. Everything that you've said makes a lot of sense. And I would assume, but the old guard must be, they push back on the internet, right? What do you mean? I got to put my articles online for free? That doesn't make any sense, right? And so now, oh, you want me to get into Web3 and the rest of the, the media in the States, and this is going to lead into the next question, is like against it, right? So what are the kind of pushbacks that you think, and maybe not necessarily just for Forbes in general, but like, you think in corporate America, why isn't everybody doing it? Everything you explained to us today sounds like normal, right? But I can just imagine there's some pushback and some questions and, why doesn't this work? And, how does this help the brand? Things like that.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Casey. I'll speak on Forbes to start and then think about well, as an industry in general, where we stand right now. Where I got lucky with Forbes is they sort of already had a plan. Like, hey, we know Web3 needs to be an internal full-time department. Let's go hire and build this from the ground up. And when I joined, you know, the stakeholders, the executive team, the chief growth officer, they were already like fully in. And they, you know, they may not say this fully, but I just talking to them and getting to know them so much more on a deeper level. Like they have that little degen bug in them themselves. Like, you know, they're looking at Sandbox, they're looking at the Pudgy Penguins, they're looking at Memeland and the next projects that are on OpenSea. And so it's really cool to be part of this ecosystem where not only do they get it, but like they're a part of it, and way more than any other brand that I've seen. But I think to your point, like other legacy brands, why haven't we gone fully in yet? I think to the rest of the world, this is still a very gray box. There's a lot happening. There's a new trend every week, and they almost cannot keep up. And some have absolutely tried, and that's I think even the first step to success. But maybe where I would do things differently is after that first try, instead of just leaving, let's kind of iterate and see what you can build. Of course, I do think as a legacy brand, as a blue chip brand, any Web2 company that enters into the space, you kind of have this higher pedestal that you need to sort of speak from because you have a lot of backing and a reputation that you need to keep up. But on the other hand, this is an industry that is so startup focused. There's opportunities where you don't have to be completely perfect. You can make mistakes. You can kind of trial and error. And as long as you're upfront about it from the beginning, I think you're almost halfway there. So I think that's one thing that we still need to sort of figure out as an industry. But we're getting there. If we look at just the progress in the last 2 to 3 years, there's been a lot of movement. When I started collecting NFTs in 2020, I thought it was going to take like a decade until I saw Nike, Adidas, eBay get into the space. But here we are, and so that's promising.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so and also the last question for this thing is basically what's some misconceptions in Web3 that you guys would like to change? You know, being a media site, I'm sure you see a lot of crazy comments underneath articles about Web3. So I see them about AI nowadays, right? I see a lot of people who are not informed at all about AI and making complete bizarre observations, criticisms of it. But you must see a lot full blast on this. So what is one main one that you'd like to change in terms of people understanding what Web3 is?
The misconception always changes with like what trend is happening right now.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
in 2020, when Ethereum was taking over and the NFT craze was really starting, it was always around like carbon footprint. Like I remember every argument, every topic about like how eco-friendly is this, and that was the hottest topic.
What a thing to pick on, though, right? Of all the things to pick on, they picked on the energy side. That's America.
It's interesting how people interpret it. Right now, I think it's, again, what are they seeing from the high level? So it could be things around meme coins. It could be things around maybe just some fraud and things like that. And so I think education is going to be a really big part of this to make sure that we storytell this right. But even more importantly, I think at the moment, what is important is for folks to understand that this industry is serious. It's going to be here for the long term. We are no longer asking ourselves if. It is definitely 100% already here. And our job is to see how can we build some cool experiences and products along the way.
Cool. How about you, Char? Same question to you. I also want to know what do you think are misconceptions that you'd want to change?
I think, I mean, I wouldn't say it's misconceptions. I think it's a lot of assumptions regarding most Web2 projects will fail. Obviously, there is backdated history to a lot of brands that couldn't make it in Web3. So that's why there's a very naturally existing pushback towards Web2 to Web3 transition projects. And rightfully so, right? We've seen a lot of projects, big titles really give up, like, in the absolute mid of the bear, and people are like, hey, screw this place, like, we're out. Web3 is not gonna make it. And like there've been some exits which have been pretty bad, even in optics. I think the misconceptions can be cleared out by more projects like us and more projects like Forbes and more projects that come in. I think also, like, in terms of cycles, right? Every market, any financial markets take a lot of cycles for newcomers to be more comfortably entering the space, right? Like I think we've seen multiple cycles now. We've seen a couple of good brands do well in Web3. So I think that's also more inviting. And I think even with the Bitcoin ETF, which was like a mass validation for crypto, right? Like
Yeah.
crypto has been termed a scam a lot.
Yeah.
But I think the Bitcoin ETF has given a lot of companies green light. So I think obviously we'll see good, like great companies join in, and I think the people need to be more receptive and give people a chance before they don't. Like, because I remember Karen getting a bunch of shit even when 9gag joined, and people were like, "Yeah, you guys aren't gonna make it, man. You guys like, we've seen too much of this," and I think that's not the best way because. The space needs validation, right? Like we also need good brands to come in and build good stuff here. So I
Yeah.
think mutually, let's hope that it gets better, even in mindset.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Good points.
because there's also a trust issues like with all the holders. I understand that there's a lot of ups and downs like throughout the years, and I think you're right. Like with companies like us, like coming in and setting up a good example of what a Web3 team should look like. I think like that's like something that the market and also the community would appreciate. I also want to
It's
share.
difficult though, right? I think
Yeah.
like it's difficult because you're trying to explain to companies that hey, you need to change how you think and how you release things, right? It like how many times have we discussed this internally where dude, like we all have to give first, we all have to push for the benefit of the community first before we even try to see any kind of output or any kind of ROI as an organization. I think that mindset is something that it's difficult to adapt for companies because most Web2 companies are dependent on like pushing product and getting quicker ROI than you can get in Web3. I think that's what the difficult part is, and obviously that needs to change.
Yeah, Manny, do you have anything to add to that?
I think Char completely hit it on the nail. What we are asking from these brands that have existed for 20, 40, 50 years is to completely like turn the table upside down when it comes to their go-to-market strategy, how they talk to their community members, how they talk to their fans. And that's hard to do in just one project. So what I would love to see is brands stay here for the long term and they don't just let one project define them. Like you keep building, you keep innovating, and that's really the path to success.
Yeah, I think this is a great story of like publishers coming into Web3 because I always tell people about like why 9gag is doing Web3 because it's hard to survive as a publisher with like the current competition and also with having an advertising model. We're not really bringing user benefits directly to the end user. And I think with Web3, we are able to do that. Like we are actually continue to give values to people that we care about for years. And we finally have a very close community right now. And I think this is something that we always wanted to build when we were exploring what's our next step. So talking about user benefits, I want to know
Alpha
any
time.
alphas that we can get out from you, Manny.
This is where
When
it's getting-
token.
When token.
Char, I am not going there just yet. So like we're announcing the benefits one at a time right now. There's a lot of cool stuff that's coming this way. We've already announced the magazine issue, and there's going to be one more really focused on our lists and how the holders will have really influence to showcase how this list is going to be curated. So be on the lookout for that. And even more importantly, in about a week or so, our allow list is going live with the application process. So we're going to be really looking for some people that have cool ideas, cool dreams. Maybe they have already built it, maybe they're on the way, but the Memeland community is so special. It has been tremendous for Forbes and Forbes Web3 to be working with Memeland and 9gag. So we have something very special planned for the Memeland community just when it comes to the allow list and the process there. So stay tuned for that.
Let's go.
Oh my God. Yes. We definitely have some holders became a legend in our own community. And I'm sure like we want to turn all holders into influencers. So they are all
That's not good, man. They're gonna.
Yeah.
That's not good.
no. So and anything to add for you, Char?
No, I think it's been great. This also, like, engaging with a bunch of people from the inner circle was fantastic, because I think Forbes pressing down on what they're good at. Like it's like 9gag doing memes, right? I think Forbes doing a curated list is very on brand. I've spoken to the biggest holders of the space, biggest contributors to the space, and I think all of us have not been excited as much as this for the first time. So also it adds to the validation that Forbes brings to individuals, right? Like, people have sold $1 million JPEGs, but I think the validation that Forbes brings in is unparalleled, and I think that's what people are excited about. And yep, looking forward to doing a lot more with Forbes actually.
Super excited about it. Manny, anything you want to say before we go?
Thank you so much for having me. It's always such a pleasure talking to the Memeland team, and I can't wait what's more to come out of this. I feel like this is just the beginning.
Yeah, I hope that we can do more events together where we bring all the inner circle and legends into one place and in real life.
Good idea. Yeah.
It should be an annual thing, hopefully.
Let's do it. I'm down.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Manny, for
Thanks,
joining.
Manny.
If you like the show, we are live every Thursday, Hong Kong time, and Wednesday night in the US. We will see you again next week.
Bye.